Hey guys, welcome to Motorcycle Filming and Gear. This video is all about that bloody stupid wind noise that we cop when we're filming on a motorcycle. So it's either via the camera and its inbuilt microphone, or on a helmet with the external microphone in the helmet connected to your camera. So how do we bloody avoid that wind noise? Because obviously the wind noise itself is bad, but when you get that wind noise, you then lose the all the other sounds that you want to capture. So I'm gonna basically step through as much as I possibly can. I'm not an expert, you guys know that. Anybody that's new to it, I'm not an expert. This is just stuff that I've worked out. So we'll first touch on what I've done with just the inbuilt microphone on these cameras, and also like the Sony camera that you're on. I've got another one over there that I'll be able to show you what I've done. I've set up a fan here to simulate some stuff. Hopefully that's going to work out. Alright, let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first thing is the microphone. What the bloody hell is it doing? Well, a microphone is the same as an ear. It listens, hears and relays information to the camera. Our ear does the same thing. It listens, hears things and relays that information to our brain, if we've got a brain. So if you're out somewhere and it's really windy, you'll hear that shh noise happening on your ear. And basically if someone's talking to you while that's happening, you'll automatically just adjust so that the wind doesn't hit it so in a certain way to alleviate that whooshing noise. Or you might bloody cup it or whatever and go, hey, what are you talking about? Now that's fine when you're just talking or whatever, but when you're videoing, we can't tell when the camera is getting that shh noise until we get home and we bloody whack it on the computer, and then we've said all this stuff, and then all we can hear is shh, and you go, oh my god, bloody hell. So we've got to try and alleviate that problem all the time. Now it doesn't matter whether it's the inbuilt microphone, whether it's a Labial or whatever you want to call these types of bloody microphones, or even, you know, a set of this type of thing. Any microphone, they're all the bloody same. So what we've got to do is try and stop that the wind noise. Alright, let's get into the first part. Alright guys, so first I should most probably explain a little bit in my limited knowledge. Jesus Christ, shut up! Oh, bloody birds around here. Some people think that I've got pet birds. They're not pet birds, they're just local birds, and they're all different types of birds. They come in the man cave, they pinch the bloody cat food, the dog food. Anyway, so I wanted to explain what's happening. So as I was talking about that wind noise, obviously sound is a vibration. So what's happening when it's going past our ear, it's actually making a disturbance in the air or whatever it is. I'm no bloody rocket scientist, and that's what we're hearing, because sound is a vibration. So all of a sudden we've got this bloody crazy vibration that's hitting on certain parts of our ear at a certain angle, and that's the same as a microphone on either a camera or on one of these. So this has a foam thing, but the foam is still quite a harsh thing, and wind blowing on that foam will create that disturbance. The same as on a hard surface like that, it's going to make that disturbance, and the microphone inside here and inside here hears that vibration, and that's what gives us that noise. So what we're actually doing is diffusing that the wind and the vibration. Now, straight up, it's some type of furry thing, because the wind hits this, but it's so light and fluffy that it doesn't have a chance to create the vibration, because these little furry things move, and that diffuses the wind and that vibration. So the vibration, you don't get that. I'm rambling now, but yeah, you get my drift. Alright, so what we're going to do is do a test first on this. But what I'll show you, on the camera that you guys are on, this is another one, this is the older one, you'll see that, because I only use the microphones straight off the cameras, I've stuck that furry stuff, can you see that? There? I've just stuck that over the internal microphone on that. And it works an absolute bloody treat. When you're out and it's windy, you just don't get it. It diffuses it, or at worst, it just lessens it so that you can still hear me talking or whatever's going on. So we're going to do a bit of a test where I'll put that in front of here, turn that fan on, and see what happens, and then I'll show you that footage. And then what I'm going to do, because I don't use this particular one. That's the one that goes mounted on the bike or looking back at me. And I don't use the sound off it basically, so it's only for capturing video. So I've never had to worry about it. But in this, I'm going to cut a little piece out of this furry stuff. I'll stick it on there, then do that, and we'll see what the difference is. All right, guys. So I've got the little Sony camera, and we're going to use the internal mic. So you can obviously hear me. I'm going to try and keep this at the same spot. You can hear me talking, turning on the fan. So there's obviously noise from the fan, but you should hear more of the wind noise, I would say. I'm just going to clear this around here. Facing back to me. You should notice changes in that pushing sound. There you go. And now it should be all nice and not noisy. Alright guys, so there you go. That's what we're all bloody going, Jesus Christ, can't we get rid of that shit? So what I'm now going to do is basically cut a piece of this out, stick it on there with some super glue. So I've got mess everywhere. I've got stuff from the bloody cooking thing, there's filming stuff. Max, which, can you see Max there? Max is all getting prepped up for a ride that me and Alice are doing. We're going to go do the little desert. We're just waiting on a good weekend. We're hoping this weekend, but it's just rain planned, so we're going to hopefully next weekend. So I've been going through that. I'm going to do a video on this anyway, but let's get back to this. Alright guys, so I've cut this tiny little piece of fur. You can see on the back there I've cut a V, and the reason why I've done that is so that the little speaker holes, hopefully you can see they're way up here, so you've got to make sure that these speaker holes are covered. It's not so much important down here. So I've cut that little groove so that this will move up and fully cover those holes. Now the other thing is that these hair, or the fur, I've got to make sure that I trim some of the hair, but not too much of it, down, so that you don't get some of that hair in your field of view. So that's just a matter of trim. And if you know, as this gets blown around and stuff, you know, little bits and pieces might stick up out of the way. Look, there's still stuff coming out of it. So you can just, if you notice it, you just trim a little bit more off until it's pretty much done. Alright, so all we're going to do is put a little bit of super glue around. I'll just try and not get that super glue in those speaker holes, because that would be stupid. Right. Should be enough. Then we just stick this on. There you go guys, that should be ready to go. Alright, so now we're going to do the exact same thing, except this camera now has the little mustache. So I'm going to keep talking, getting ready to turn on the fan. Here we go. So the fan is now on, blowing directly onto the camera. Talking like a bloody idiot. Turn it around like that. And now I'm hoping that you shouldn't have any wind noise on that camera. Cool. So there you go, guys. I've just obviously went and checked that footage, and yeah, you can still hear the wind noise, but with that furry stuff on, it was way less than what it was without the furry stuff on it. And the other thing to note was that without that on it, my voice, when I was talking, started to go away in the background. Whereas while that was on there and you could hear that wind noise, you could still clearly hear me talking. And I think that's obviously my vibrations of my talking was stronger than the wind noise, so it was able to interpret it and do it, I think. But it was way better. And I'll just so you can now re-listen to it together. So here it is without the fur on it. More of the wind noise, I would say. I'm just going to clear this around here. And now here it is with the fur on it. So the fan is now on, blowing directly onto... Without the fur? More of the wind noise, I would say. I'm just going to clear this around here. With the fur. So the fan is now on, blowing directly onto... Alright, so... because that fur is so very, very close to the microphone, that's why most probably we could still hear a bit of that wind noise. Now on my helmet, you'll see that I've got fur all down here and all on there. The reason why I've got it on both sides is because I've had the microphone on two different sides and I've just left that fur there. But my microphone is actually in the foam padding. I dug a hole in it, put the microphone in there, and then covered over this with that fur. So this is diffusing, and then even further down in there, it's got a bigger, I don't know how do you say it, the wind doesn't get to it as easily as what it does with it just being that fur directly on there, if you know what I'm talking about. Cool. Alright guys, so you're still with me? So what I've done is I've just nicked out to go and buy a, what do you call it, Laviel lapel bloody microphone. The other one that I showed you before, I had a different connection and doesn't fit into my other camera. So instead of taking the microphones from out of my helmets, digging them all out and doing all that, you know, getting rid of all that hard work that I put into it, I've gone and bought one of these from JB Hi-Fi. It was $58, can you believe it? Bloody hell. But this is, apparently, they're marketing it for smartphones or tablets. But it has a 3.5 phone jack on it, which is what the Sony cameras have, will fit straight into. So, if we pop this open, and then there's the external jack, that will just pop straight in there. So now what we're going to do is the same test using this, because this is what we're using in our helmets. Exactly the same test, and then I'll cover it with fur, and then we're still not bloody finished because now we've got other factors which is on the helmet. So we'll get to that as well, like the helmet services, and there's my. Let's see if I can point you around. This helmet up here, and it's the reason why I have this bloody tape over there. I'll explain all that as well. Cool, we'll do this now. Alright guys, so as you saw, that did not bloody well work. This is not compatible with the Sony or most probably any of the action cam type stuff. This is only for tablets and iPhones, most probably PCs. Now I'm going to give you a bit of an explanation. So that was a whole waste of time running around all these bloody shops. That's amazing how many of these places don't have any friggin' microphones except for those big handheld bloody type things. We ended up being at JB Hi-Fi and they had this. This was the only one of its type. The rest of it, like they had, if you were looking for headphones, they just had walls and counters like full of them everywhere. But anyway, so do not buy that. Now the difference, I'll first show you on this, and when I've done my footage for this and put it onto the editing, I know there's only one line, like you think of stereo, like there's the left and the right, And I didn't realise this until someone said they thought when they were listening to the video, they thought their headphones one side had broken. Because I was swapping between this camera and here, and I didn't, in the edit I had to, what am I bloody saying? Basically these are mono. So that there is a mono. So what you can see, it's got a tip, then it's got a sleeve. So a tip and then a sleeve. So that means that that is a mono 3.5. Now I'm no expert, just, you know, but this is basically what I can see at this stage. Now on a head like these headsets, you can get the drift microphones, and I've just checked on Camzilla, and they are actually this. So they're stereo. Obviously the ones that I had were older ones, which meant that they were mono, but this has a tip, a ring, and then a sleeve. So if you've got a tip, ring, and then sleeve, you've got stereo. And I just tested it on the little Sony thing, put it in, then put it into the edit, and I could see my audio had 2 fields, whereas when I use my helmets I've only got 1 field, and what I have to do is do an edit on it to tell it to go across the both sides. Alright, so that's that. And so this is this one here. This has a tip, ring, sleeve, and that does not work in our cameras. Bloody hell, crazy. So to reaffirm, where did that other one go? Oh, my helmet. Fell on the ground. So to reaffirm, if you're in the market for looking for a bloody microphone, any one of these ones will work. Tip and then sleeve. Don't look at the black part. And then this one is tip, ring, sleeve. So that one there is stereo, so you'll have your left and your right, whereas the mono one will only be on one side. And when you're doing the editing, you can make that one side actually come across to play on both sides, like in speakers on your computer or your tally or earphones. Oh man, and I tell you what, there's even more. Like Nae's been looking up, trying to work it all out for me, and she said it just gets crazy after that. So there you go. So I most probably end up having to go to Camzilla, and I'll most probably get a couple of new ones of these, which will be the stereo. I mean, this still works as it is, but won't hurt to upgrade it, I suppose. And they're $35 Australian on Camzilla.
Hi, this is Mark, your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you to Fat Bastard Airways. We'll be arriving at Acapulco in a short while, so please sit back and enjoy the scenery. Alright guys, so here we go again. We'll turn this fan on, get myself in there, so hopefully you can hear me properly. Turn the fan on, and if I start talking, and of course you should be hearing all this bloody whoosh whoosh noise, move myself around. Hello, hello, I am a robot.
Holy crap, that worked really good. That was really surprising. So must be because this thing's a whole lot bigger. I don't know, that worked really good. So now I'm just going to quickly cover this with the fur. I won't show you that, and we'll then put it in front of there and see if we can even alleviate that air totally.
Alright guys, I know this looks really bloody stupid, but that's just a quick thing. I don't want to make a permanent thing out of this. So now we'll just turn this fan on. So we're right in it. And hopefully this is going to alleviate in total the noise of that fan. Come back out, beautiful, go right in and around. Cool.
Well, there you go guys, so that totally took away that wind noise, but without that on this particular microphone you could slightly hear that the wind noise, but it was still really good. Now maybe it was because it was so close to my voice, but basically what that proves is that this furry stuff really does work at alleviating that wind noise. Now I'm going to leave this video here because it's actually most probably going way too bloody long. So I'm going to leave when I was talking about the other stuff, which is the actual helmets, and it's all about the aerodynamics. It's no different than, you know, some helmets are more noisy than others, and that's the wind hitting certain aspects of it. So what I'm going to do is leave this here. Next week I'm going to buy 2 of those microphones from Camzilla, because I'll upgrade those, and then I'll take you through the process of that. So I suppose, you know, you guys are learning something, and I'm learning stuff myself as we go along. And that whole thing, maybe having the thicker foam on the inside, then having the stuff on there, might even make my helmets even better as well. Because I know this one, I have issues at high speed. Most of the stuff that you guys see when I'm riding max, it's, you know, it's normally low speed. It's not on the highway where I'm doing like 100 k's, so the audio always sounds really good. This one is good at really high speed, except when I get that buffering off Harry's big windscreen. So we might touch, if we get time, might touch on that point as well in next Friday. Otherwise, we might shoot that to the next Friday. So it might end up being 3 bloody videos into regards to this. All right, I'm shutting up now, guys. Keep on riding.